All
right. Hold on. Let's just get this out of the way. Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? No! Why?
Because I just didn't like having long hair.
That's fair.
And I didn't want to go get a haircut because, COVID. So I just, shaved it. It'll be long in a few weeks. Long enough, so.
Or you could just keep it like that.
Huh?
Or you could just keep it like that.
I could be like Joe and I can just, rock the ball, even though I don't need to, really.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, that scared the shit out of me. It doesn't look bad or anything. It just... Not what I was expecting. Merry Christmas, I suppose.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the new year. Me and Thomas are recording this 5 hours before the new year.
No.
It's the end of 2020.
I'm just glad that To Boldly Flee wasn't the last thing I watched this year.
It's not too late. After this, you have time to go watch it again.
No. Nope. If I was to watch any of those again, it would be.
Why is your camera like this? You just like it that way?
My computer is kind of at an angle right now on my futon, and the camera's not straight either. But whatever, it works.
Fine. It's a power pose. So, how has this last week of 2020 been for you?
It was alright. Let's see. Fuck, let me check my letterbox.
You watch things?
I watched a little bit.
Wow, that's surprising, especially because we had to watch 5 movies this week.
Yeah. I watched the first season of Metalocalypse, and I watched it's not the finale, but it's the last thing that they made before they got canceled, which was leading into the finale.
Oh.
Which kind of sucks. Adult Swim canceled it, and then they did a fundraiser. They're like, hey, we raised $2 million. The fans and us, we really want to make this. Can we do it, Adult Swim? And Adult Swim was just like, no.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's a bazinga move.
Yeah. No, it's still pretty funny, and I'm glad. I was really worried that they would use kind of outdated terms a lot, because adult comedy cartoons on Adult Swim back then, but I think they may have used the R term once or twice maybe max, but they usually use dildo or something as an insult.
Classic.
So, yeah. It's a lot. It's oh, that's nice. It's nice to go back and not be bombarded with that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then, let me check my letterbox. I think I watched something else. I can't remember what the fuck it would have been, though.
You watched both the other Channel Awesome movies?
No.
Fuck.
Oh, I'm not signed in on my desktop. Oh my god, you want to hear a horror story? Last night, somebody kept trying to log into my PS4.
Did you change your stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but 5 months ago or something like that, somebody got $400 off of my, they bought a bunch of games on my PS4 account because I guess my card was still linked to it. I got it all back. I got the money back, but that was a debacle.
Yeah. Fucking. Yeah, because I was just they would log in, I'd be like, hey, what the fuck? And I'd log back in, and then I was on my laptop with the other hand, changing my password, which PlayStation does not make easy. Fucking, it sent me directly to a fucking, it's change password, big bold button, and I clicked it, and it just took me to a fucking PS5 ad page. And I'm just
why change your password when you can just go buy a PS5?
It's this is not what I want. Oh no, I guess that Metalocalypse thing was the only technical movie I watched this week. I watched like part of a One Piece special, but I didn't finish it.
This was bad.
It was one I had seen before, and it just kind of recaps
classic
the first saga, but not very well. They leave out a bunch of really good stuff and do it in a really weird order. But yeah.
Guess what I did? I did it.
You watched... Oh, you finished James Bond?
Yep. I mean, I didn't finish the, like, non-Eon movies, so that's, like, the...
Yeah.
But that's not what I had promised myself. Like, I have 2, technically, I can still watch, but... Man, that journey was rough. Hey, half of the Daniel Craig movies were good, though. Like, Casino Royale and Skyfall, I legitimately thought were pretty great. Quantum of Solace and Spectre are terrible.
I'll check out your ranking list when you make one on Letterboxd.
Oh, it's already up.
I might check out the decent ones.
Because I make them as I go whenever I, like, start a series. I'll be like, well, I've seen, like... Once I hit, like, a threshold of, like, 6 things, I'll be like, yeah, this is good enough.
I see.
What else did I do? I just finished, literally, like, 4 minutes ago, I finished Another Round, which is a movie that came out this year that I've been wanting to see for, like, a while. It's by Thomas Vinterberg. He's a Danish director. He's, like, he, like, started a movement with, like, Lars von Trier. They're pretty close. He's did a movie called The Hunt that came out in 2012 that was pretty big with Mads Mikkelsen, if you've heard of that one.
Yeah, I think I've seen the poster for it.
Mads Mikkelsen is also the main character in this one. Best movie I've seen this year. Like, at least from this year. Because I've watched Memories of Murder this year.
Yeah.
But
we watched a lot of good shit this year. We went through last episode and talked about some of the shit we watched just on here in the last year. And I was like, what? We pretty much all the director deep dives for the most part have been this year, with the exception of Kurosawa and Bergman, I think. So it's just like, Agnes Varda feels like it was 2 years ago.
Seriously, yeah. I feel like we've been doing this for a long time. But yeah, that movie's I think you specifically would really like it as well. I rented it on Vudu. It's like $7 because it's still in theaters to rent, but it was worth it. I wish I had just bought it for $15. I was like, that was so fucking awesome. That's the big thing. Like, I really fucking wish that...
check it out.
When you get something like your... I would be so much more... appreciative. I'd be so much more willing to rent movies online. If you liked it, you can just pay the difference afterwards to buy it. I'm like,
no, that would be nice. That would be a nice little feature.
And then I did also find another short film by Steve McQueen and watched it. I found the one he did with Kanye. That's like an extended music video for like 2 of Kanye's like unreleased songs. They were supposed to be on Yeezus, maybe?
I'll have to check those out.
I can send you the link. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I really liked it.
Nice.
And in general, I'm just like, yeah. I watched Devilman Volume 2 and 3, the OVAs, because I watched the first one like a week ago. They both kind of sucked, but whatever.
Is that where they try to take it seriously, like in the source material, or is that where it's like kind of like your friendly neighborhood Devilman?
Well, it's like really edgy, but like the dub is notorious for being like really fucking stupid. And they're like, in the first volume, they're like, you mind if I keep my shoes on in here? And he's just like, I don't give a fucking shit. And in the second one, he's like, I'm gonna cut off your head and shit down your throat.
Yes. Classic.
So, like, while the Volume 2 was, the second OVA wasn't very good, at least it was pretty short. It was like an hour, and the dub was enjoyable enough. But the third volume didn't have a dub, so it wasn't stupid anymore. Well, it was stupid just for other reasons.
Yeah.
Me and Hinatea have finished the Arrancar arc in Bleach.
Oh, nice. is that where the Bleach anime
The
ends?
Bleach anime, so we've skipped all 4 anime-only arcs. I'm going to go back and watch them. Hinata doesn't really seem like she's interested. And then, so there's the Rancor arc. It finally ends at episode, I think, 310. And then there's one more anime-only arc. And then we just started the final arc, which is the Fullbring arc. And that's like the last 20 or so episodes. Yo, the spike in like animation this last season looks insane.
Yeah, I've seen kind of like some of the later art style, and it looks a lot different than like the early stuff.
Like
does.
I don't think Bleach looks bad ever. Like the first couple seasons look a little rough just because they're older, and especially like the first Bound arc, because it was just like, we don't have any money. This is just until Tite Kubo writes more.
Yeah.
But this last season, it looks incredible. Like really nice so far. So, and then that's mostly what I did. I played a little Apex Legends yesterday.
Yeah,
I played for like 4 hours or 3 hours. And that was the first time I've played like anything besides Fallen Order in a while. It was fun. Good times.
Oh, nice.
I might play tonight or tomorrow for a little bit, but okay. Well, there's yeah. Oh, I also watched, I don't think I mentioned this last week. I think it was on the day we recorded. I just finished it. I don't think I mentioned it. I watched a movie called I Used to Go Here, which is produced by the like Lonely Island crew. So like Andy Samberg and Akiva.
I think you had mentioned that.
Oh, okay. Jermaine Clements in it. It was decent. Oh, I did. I did mention it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, here I am mentioning it again. It was decent.
Okay. Cool. I love me some Jermaine Clements.
Yeah, that's... Oh, and I've been watching... Have you ever heard of this guy named Steve Cutts? He makes animations on YouTube that are like short films. Stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. I've watched 3 today.
Let me look at Steve Cutts, because I watch a lot of like little YouTube animated videos.
I have a feeling that I saw the main one that he's known for is this one called Man.
Oh, yeah. I've watched a couple of his.
They're really bad.
I liked...
You liked which one?
I kind of liked the happiness one, but that one's pretty simple.
That's what I've heard is his best one.
Okay.
Man.
It's a pretty simple, basic It's like, mankind? Mouse. Or is it a mouse or is it rats? Whatever. Mice or rats.
It's a rodent.
Whatever they are. Rodents. And it's just like, it's got really nice animation. Have you ever seen Double King?
Double King?
Yeah. That's a little like silent animation that's got like kind of... I would recommend checking it out. It's like maybe 11 minutes max. I don't even think it might be that long. Like it's very short, but it's fun.
Intriguing. Okay. I'll give it a go after this. I'm trying to quickly round out my Letterboxd with like short films, just because I want to hit 900 for the year. And I'm like, I'm at like 896. It's fine.
God, I watch a lot of those like fucking YouTube animations. I don't even think about logging those as short films, but they're probably on there.
Most of them are on there. Oh, I'm gonna fucking sneeze. Thomas, what are your hopes for the channel in 2021? What's your hope?
What's my hope?
We get banned.
Another 100 subscribers.
I'm upping it. I think we can hit 250.
Let's try.
You know what? No. Fuck it. 300. We can do it. I'm going to go crazy. It's going to be good. Just need to make more Scooby-Doo content. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I got a video idea that I'm in the process of working on.
Gay sex.
So. You know it. YouTube, nothing clicks like it. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's let's answer the final. Well, no, these are the first questions of the year, I guess, for people listening. From Pierre.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Question 1. You need to fight. There's a knife and a baseball bat on a table. You choose one, your opponent gets the other. Which weapon do you want? I want the table.
That would also, I guess that works. That's thinking outside the box. Use it as a shield.
I'm glad that we're recording today because there's fireworks in the background. Can you hear them?
Oh, can you? Oh, well, I got this. I can faintly hear them.
It's fine.
I got the same going
it's
on.
Fine.
Yeah,
it's a New Year's episode. It's fine if we hear the fire.
There we go.
I'd probably take the bat just because, like...
Yeah. Distance.
Yeah. It also depends on a wood or metal, I guess. But if it was a wooden, I might take the knife just because, like, I feel like if it wasn't, like, hitting my head, I could take a baseball bat hit, like, while I was going in with a knife. If it was wooden, like, going against, like, sure, I can take it. It'll really fucking hurt, but I can take it while I stab them. But if it's a metal one, I don't trust it. I don't know, though. Question 2.
No, I'd go with the bat. What
is the best flavor of toothpaste? I've never had any toothpaste that's not just mint, so I guess mint.
Yeah, no, I when I was a kid, I had bubble gum and I hated that shit. Mint for sure.
Maybe if they could make, like, salami flavored toothpaste. Just kidding, that sounds like I'd gag a lot.
Like artificial, like, banana flavor, maybe.
That might be good. Maybe like strawberry. I feel like fruit is a pretty...
Yeah. So, some like a light fruit.
Yeah, you want it to be
kind of flavor.
Subtle taste.
Yeah, not
subtle
too
kiwi.
Overbearing.
There you go. And then final question. If David Lynch was in charge of a Tony Hawk movie, who should play the legendary skate lord? I was thinking about this a lot. And I think it should take place, like, in the future, where Tony Hawk's, like, 90, and David Lynch plays him. And he's regaling the tale of his youth, and it cuts to him as in different parts of his life. And you have a bunch of different actors playing him, including, but not limited to, Denzel Washington. And
I'm liking it.
Who's the guy from what is it? But what's his name? Lucas Hedges.
No, Lucas Hedges. Yeah.
Lucas Hedges, Denzel Washington, Kristen Stewart, and then
I feel Bryan
Cranston. That'll be the 4 different times. It'll be like the who did they do? What was the fucking movie on? I think it's by Todd Haynes.
Can you get Brett McKenzie to do the soundtrack?
Yes.
There you go.
Todd Haynes did a movie called I'm Not There, where 6 different actors portray, like, I think 6 different versions of Bob Dylan. And, like...
Oh, okay.
It'll be like that.
I've seen, like, stills from that.
It'll be like that, but with Tony Hawk.
Oh, okay. Not a bad idea.
What about you? What's your casting for Tony Hawk?
He had done it a couple years ago when he was still alive. I would have said Harry Dean Stanton. But
that's like even older. Betty White.
Just the idea of Harry Dean Stanton playing Tony Hawk
Prince
makes me laugh.
Who's the really old one? Prince Williams? Is that right? Or Prince Charles? Which one?
Oh, I think it might. I don't remember the name of the particular one. I think it might be Charles, but I may be off on that. I'm not familiar with the royal family, but Let me see. Fucking... What's it called? Who would I cast that's alive? Who's the main guy from the new guy? That guy. That little guy.
The new guy. What's his name? DJ Qualls. DJ Qualls is like 45 years old now.
Yeah, he'd be perfect at playing modern day Tony Hawk.
You should have
Tony Hawk's in the new guy too. It's funny as well.
You should have J.K. Simmons in like a really bad wig play Tony Hawk.
I know you said J.K. Simmons, but for some reason I pictured J.K. Rowling.
There you go. Yeah. These are all good ideas.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the great questions.
Okay.
I can't stop looking at your bald head. Oh. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Don't tell Joe, just tell him to watch the new episode when it's up.
Okay, will do. Let's talk about small acts. We've already talked about Steve McQueen, so we can just jump right in. I will say that Small Axe has been like in development for like 10 years, or in some sort of development. Steve McQueen wanted to make it like a long time ago, and then he wanted it to be a television series, and then he's like, I have enough for each of these stories to be like a full-length movie or close to full-length, so he's like, I'm just going to do that. And then we got it this year. 5 stories: Mangrove, Lover's Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatle, and Education. So my order of watching this was really weird. I think I went Education, Lover's Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatle, Mangrove.
Oh, okay. It's not bad order.
I had just like watched a lot of like shit. I had just finished Spectre that day, and Spectre was garbage. I'm like, I can't watch a movie longer than like an hour and a half, so I'm just like, I'll just watch Education. It's like an hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that was also the day I'd watched Devilman 2 and 3, so I was just like, I need a break. But
I see.
And then you watched them in order except for Red, White, and Blue, which you put at the end?
Yeah.
Just because of Mr. Boyega, or any specific reason?
Yeah, mainly just for Boyega. I was like, I'm sure the last episode's gonna be, like, good and all, or the last movie, but I want to end on one that, I don't know, I felt like was probably gonna be a little higher than the rest.
We'll see if you feel that way sense. Shortly.
Yeah.
But let's start with Mangrove. So, all of these movies are pretty, like, basic because they're telling, like, technically small-scale stories that have large impacts on things. All of these are based around West Indian people coming from, like, like Jamaica, that sort of area, those types of islands, those types of places, immigrating to jolly old England and being discriminated against because white people be whack, I guess. Not I guess, I know this. I know white people are...
No, for sure.
Yesterday I went to Winco. A guy wouldn't wear his mask, and I was like, dude, can you fucking put on your mask? And he said, no. I'm like, why? And he said, because I'm a wolf in a sheep's world. And I laughed at him. That was fucking annoying.
That's funny. I watched a video this week that kind of reminds me of that, where this guy was, like, trying to run into a store, and he just ended up, like, falling over. It's pretty
so, good. Anyway, Mangrove is about, the primary character, for a bit at least, is Frank Cricklow? He's this owner of this restaurant called the Mangrove. It's in the middle of, like, Notting Hill. And a bunch of people come to it, including like the British equivalent of the Black Panthers, which I believe was just called British Black Panthers or something similar.
Yeah.
And then like Letitia Wright is in it, and Malachi Kirby. Those represent like the three main characters in the movie, which are Frank Althea? I can't remember how you pronounce her name, and Darkus. But eventually, not eventually, like from the very beginning, police are harassing them and trying to figure out like ways that they can get them thrown in prison for like no reason. And it kind of just keeps escalating to the point where they're like, that's it, we got to take a stand. So
yeah, the police will literally like raid his restaurant like every day.
Yeah, they said there
like,
was 9 times in I think 4 weeks. So that's like literally every 3 days. And they're like, literally, we got to take a stand because they're just breaking all our shit. So they like start a protest and stuff, and then police arrest like the Mangrove 9. That's what they're called. They're supposed to be like the big inciters of a riot that didn't occur. What really happened is they go to the police station and they're like, we demand to see like this main cop who's his name's Frank Pulley. We demand to see him, and he like for him to apologize and take responsibility for his actions, and instead the police force just surround them and start arresting him. And then that's like the first hour-ish of the movie, maybe a little less, and then the second half, maybe hour 10 minutes, is all courtroom drama where they're trying to be like, hey, maybe the police are racist. This movie
had big insult vibes. Like, that was the movie that kept coming to mind. Like, even before they got to the courtroom, and then I saw the courtroom, I'm like, oh, this definitely is screaming insult at me now, just because of the design of the courtroom.
I want to rewatch that
courtroom
movie.
Design, though. It's a good movie too.
In general, I want to watch more with those two in it.
I want to watch more from that director. But yeah, so basically, a few of them decide to represent themselves, and they've got like one attorney who's on their side, who kind of like helps lay out the technical stuff for them, and kind of like warms up the judge to them, is like how he puts it in the movie.
Yeah.
And then, they basically they refute everything that they feel is, like, unfair to them in the courtroom, get it on the documents, and they, like, take their own copies home, and Darkus, like, studies them and finds, like, contradictions in their testimonies and shit.
Yeah. Well, it's, like, it's interesting, because once they, like, got in, there's a really big vibe of, like, these police officers, like, being like, oh, fuck, we arrested the wrong people, pretty much. Because, like, it's a classic strategy of, like, keeping minorities, like, uneducated or undereducated and then giving them, like, shit lawyers so they can't do anything about whatever you do to them, pretty much. But Darkus is, like, highly educated because he was very lucky in this situation. So he's just like, fuck you!
Yeah.
So there's a really nice sense of not really justice, because this wasn't nearly enough, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't enough, but there's at least a little bit of fuck you.
It feels like there's a big common thread through these movies where they talk about, like, the best case scenario for them is a draw.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, no, all of these movies in general are pretty sad. Even, like, the most happy one, which we'll be talking about next, I think has a real, like, air around it, like a bubble of depression around it.
Yeah. One of the things that was nice about Mangrove is, obviously, spoilers, they were all, like, found not guilty.
Yeah, I think 3 of them had, like, small charges that went through, because... But other than that, yeah. And this was a huge movement in Britain. This was, like, the first time that a courtroom had really acknowledged, like, racial prejudice in the, like, British police force.
Mm-hmm. And, fucking, what's it called? There's, like, this big kind of, like, sub-theme going on throughout the movie where they talk about it in the very beginning, where it's like, even though, you know, they're dealt, like, a shitty hand and they lead, like, lives that are a lot harder, they walk around and they don't let it, like, completely tear them down. Like, they always try to find the silver lining.
Because
there's lots of scenes where there's, like, just lots of partying, lots of dancing. Like, they straight up go out and, like, start the barbecue and start playing, what do you call them? Marimbas?
Yeah? Yeah, sure.
The little, like, big drums with, like, the big little, like, things at the end of them. But, yeah. Fucking... So I like that they take the time to, like, have those scenes in them, too.
I think you're thinking of a marimba, but that's more of, like, a long thing with the sticks.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it. This is the knee episode of Screen Weens, where I keep putting my knees in the camera. It makes me look very small. I mean,
it's not the most they've seen of your legs. We all remember Reed Weens.
I forgot to give a weight update. I think I've lost like a couple pounds. I think I'm 272 now. So,
oh, nice.
I'm going. I'm getting there. Give it a year. I'll be at 250.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sure you'll start losing weight faster. I'm sure it's probably like a gradual, and then you'll like kind of get little bursts where you'll lose more weight at like one time. Well, it hasn't helped that I've been at home
this week, and I'm like, when I'm at home, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do anything. Like, if I'm out working, I can go somewhere after and work out. I'm like, that's fine. But if I'm at home, I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Get yourself like, if you ever find yourself in a downstairs area, just get like a fucking Stairmaster or something and watch movies while you like fucking ride a bike or walk on a treadmill, do something.
Well, that's what during the summer, that's what I did. I would just go walking and I just watch a movie on my phone while I'm walking outside.
Oh yeah, it's hard with the crappy weather now.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a bit too cold for that. Too fucking windy.
Pizzas in it
all day.
That's love it.
Oh, also, anyway. I have a working interview in 2 days for a different job. So.
Oh yeah. What field?
It's the hobby store, the Olympic Cards and Comics. So we'll see if that pans out.
That would be good.
That would be pretty cool. If not, oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mangrove is a pretty strong movie. I think I was expecting Letitia Wright to be like the best performance in it because she's pretty good in most of the stuff she's in. But I was surprised at how much I really, really liked. What was his name? Sean Parks, the guy who played Frank Cricklow. And Malachi Kirby. They were both.
Is he the guy who played Darkus?
Yeah, they were both really good.
I agree.
But those central three, I think were really good.
I think pretty much everyone was good in it. I liked the three that you just mentioned, and I liked. I don't know if we've mentioned her yet. The lighter skinned one. I don't know her name. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great too.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think she's in Bandersnatch, if I remember correctly. The Black Mirror, like Choose Your Own Adventure.
I didn't make it super far into that. I need to give it another go.
It's okay. We'll watch Black Mirror eventually. We'll like pick out a month and then just every week we'll watch one season of Black Mirror.
There we go.
Good show. What was I going to say? The guy who plays Pulley in it, he does a really good job. Like, he's a really scary character and he's the worst, but he's like does a really good job.
He pulls a good job at being like
pathetic,
menacing in a really pathetic way.
No, I agree. Like, and I would say the same thing about like the people in Red, White, and Blue. A lot of them are like, it's like really scary, and I'm like, but these guys are like really pathetic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's not a lot to say about some of the things. Like, I can talk about the cinematography, but a lot of it like feels the same throughout the whole because it's all Steve McQueen and it's all the same like camera person. I think that the best
they go for a pretty like raw style with the cinematography in this series. It's not like as it didn't feel as fucking
cinematic
choreographed as something like 12 Years a Slave.
I would say that there's
it definitely has its own authentic and purposeful feel to it.
They want you to be it. The camera works more as like a character itself. Like, it wants you to be placed in that situation rather than be like an observer from afar. Yeah, which I think works really well for pretty much all of them, except one we'll be talking about a little later. But I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about this one in particular?
No, not really. It's a pretty like simple movie in terms of like its premise, but its execution is really well done.
I would agree, and
I would recommend it.
Okay, I think you're going to give this one an 8, a 7. A 9? Oh, wow, okay. I was like, you're not giving this a 6.
No, no. You would give this an 8.
I did give this an 8, indeed. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Did you write down a list of what you think my order was, by the way?
No.
You should do that real quick.
Okay.
And I'll start talking about Lovers Rock. So, Lovers Rock is an hour and 10 minutes. So, everything besides Mangrove is like an hour and 10 minutes. I think Red, White, and Blue is an hour and 20. And Lovers Rock is pretty much about a birthday party for like a 17-year-old girl that a bunch of people come to. And it's pretty much just a big party throughout with some like danger lurking around every corner, but never quite reaching in.
Yeah, there's one point where it definitely comes out into the open, but it
dissipates
explode into it
really quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't as big of a narrative point as I thought they were going to make it into.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah. Let me. You can keep talking. I'm sorry, I don't want to hold you up.
Everybody stare at Thomas. I like this shirt because I'm like blending into the chair. You can't see me.
All I see is white. What?
Oh, all right. So Lovers Rock is awesome. At least I really like it. I really like this type of movie, though. It's very vibe driven. In general, I think all these movies are pretty like bare bones in their story to push on like the characters and stuff, but in this one they really want you to just focus on like the joy of like this culture, especially in like a foreign place or a place that doesn't necessarily like want them. So I really liked it. It reminded me at times like scenes between the two like love interests when they're just talking and like staring at each other. It really reminded me of like Before Sunrise or a movie kind of like that. But then like the dancing scenes all reminded me of like a more wholesome version of like Climax, if anything. Just also because of like the way that the camera was moving. I'm like, did Gasper Noé make this? There's a lot of fun, like, different vibes to it, but all of it really jives together. But meanwhile, on the outside of this party, in the party, there's a guy who tries to sexually assault the birthday girl, and the main woman in it has to, like, stop him. that's the big like confrontation of the movie. But outside, the police are like constantly circling the building because they're racist.
Yeah, this is the only one out of the 5 that doesn't have some direct instance of police brutality, I think. Or no. I don't think education.
Okay, yeah,
did.
I'm like, I don't like that was the first one I watched, but I don't remember but
yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also like these white douchebags like down the street. They're like, being racist.
Yeah.
They're just there to be evil. Yeah. But then that bouncer was huge. This bouncer walks out. He's like, I'm going to kill you in his eyes. I'm like, good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was great. I liked him. Fucking, if I was her, I would have just been like, hey, will you come with, I know you gotta stay here, but can you come with me to find my friend Patty? I don't know where she went. You never know what happens to Patty. Yeah. So that's another like darkish angle. It's like, you don't know. And the world outside scared what I like about this movie so much is it's so like calm and like, beautiful inside. Like and then every time somebody steps outside, it's like, oh. Yeah. No, for sure. It's like, so some of the, like, obviously there's some tension at the inside of the party, like, as it goes on with, like, that confrontation, and it's her cousin that, like, ends up coming in and, like, giving her a hard time. And then they end up taking a nice kind of, like, date, like, sunrise, bike stroll.
His boss is racist.
Yeah, his boss is racist.
He's like, good boy. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it wasn't as bad as the first fucking time they did something overtly racist in education, though. Jesus Christ. I was just like, but anyway, Lover's Rock is just like genuinely a joy to watch. And I do think that I missed out a little bit on watching it right after Mangrove, because they follow similar things as this one like place that with a gathering of people is like the last like solace from the outside world that is so like damning to these to people in there.
Yeah.
Just in general, I don't think I missed anything like thematically, but I just think it would be a nice pairing. Did you get your list done? Very epic. You know, I'm glad that Steve McQueen's making these movies, like that he released all these, because my top, my ranking list for the year was really just, whoa. But now I'm just like, cool, I can add a bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Can we get season 2?
I would love.
I know this is like a mini series, but I would love either the route he could go where it's like he just does more standalone stories, or hell, I wouldn't even mind if he made sequels to some of these.
That's true.
Because like he does leave a lot of them on like open notes. Not like he doesn't have to do sequels to all of them, but I would definitely like to see sequels to a couple of them.
I just think it's really fucking funny that like all of Steve McQueen's movies have this really strong thematic through line of like a lot of racial oppression and stuff like that, even in like Hunger, because but like and Shame is such like a did I freeze again?
No,
God damn it. I'm back recording. It's fine. Don't know why it does that. This is why we need to switch back to Skype.
We can start using Zoom.
Zoom is pretty bad.
I have never used Zoom.
Zoom is pretty bad. I was saying that I just think it's really funny that like Shame in general is so just not similar to any of his other movies.
Yeah, it's kind of the standout in the crowd for sure.
And I just think that's really funny. Just even looking at his filmography and just seeing that, I'm like, oh yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does next, because Lover's Rock was. I really loved Lover's Rock personally. But this is exactly the type of movie I fucking vibe with. And I think its runtime was perfect. And there were like 2 scenes. There were like these long-winded, just like the whole crowd's like singing or dancing together, and they're like really long, and they're like moving around the camera. At first, it was them all singing. What was the song? Silly Games. That was it. I was thinking Silly Lies. Silly Games. I love that scene. And later on, they're all like jumping around, getting nuts. And I really like that scene too, because it's just like, this is the only time that people can really. I was saying that this movie, in my opinion, is like a really good protest film that isn't necessarily viewed as a protest film, because like when you're being oppressed, when like the oppressors outside, just being inside, like gathering together and celebrating your culture and being you is a protest. It's being you. It's being, fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. And there's like a big air to that. There's a big feeling of that, of like celebrating who you are, even if you're in a country that you're not from or that your parents weren't from. So I really like the movie because of that. And because it's just fun. Oh my god, the scene where Kung Fu Fighting started playing. I don't know why, but that just brought such a big, genuine smile to my face.
Yeah, it's a goofy little scene, especially since like all the stern guys in the corner just started like kind of lightly, just like
it made me extremely happy.
Yeah, that was a nice little wholesome scene.
But I don't know. I don't feel like you've talked a lot about this movie. What'd you think?
I thought it was good. Like, I don't really have anything more to add on to it from what you said, really. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Good. Okay. Well, then let's just go. I will say that this probably had my favorite like cinematography of the 5, just because like during some of the dance numbers and stuff, there was one scene where like when they started like stomping a lot, the camera got really low and was just following the feet, and it was like going up and down right as they were going up and down. It was just really nice. It was like my favorite shot in all of these. And in general, I thought like being a part of everything and being more of like an active character than like an observer, I thought it worked best in this movie because it was such a like closed area.
Yeah, I could feel that.
No. Anyway, you gave this movie a 7.
Good. Right on there. You gave this one a 9?
I did indeed.
Okay. We're both on the money so far tonight, right?
Well, no, I guessed 8 for Mangrove the first time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck.
So I'm wrong and you are right. Anyway,
well, don't worry. My ranking will probably be wrong.
Maybe. I'm gonna go get some water. You can start talking about Red, White, and Blue though. Because that's the one you just finished, right? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, you go ahead and do that. I'll be right back.
Alright. Red, White, and Blue is the one with John Boyega. He plays... Let me look up the name of this guy. Yes. It is... He is playing Leroy Logan, who is fucking London Metropolitan Police officer. And it basically highlights just kind of the start of him kind of being like, oh, I want to join the police, because it's what he feels he can do to make some sort of change in the institution. And he like signs up for the force like right after his dad is just absolutely completely beaten. which leads to kind of a big, fucking rift in between their relationship. So basically, I just said they joined the police force, or he joined the police force, and that caused like a rift between him and his dad because his dad was attacked. And it's basically him it's like he knows what he's signing up for, but he hasn't fully realized just how taxing it's going to be. And the film is kind of him slowly coming to terms with this. That's kind of like close to the ending note. And, it starts off, and it seems to be going maybe well enough for his first day, but it's not long before the other police officers start just like trashing in his locker with slurs, and just the way that they handle like the black people that they'll bring in.
Yeah.
Like,
and every black person they bring in like just calls him like a traitor because he's working with the people that are throwing them in prison. There's one scene where basically this all kind of comes to or I guess this isn't maybe the part that comes to the head, but it's like the big kind of boiling tension scene where he finds himself in a situation where he needs backup with a suspect. And he calls for backup, I think, 4 times.
Yeah, but gets no response. Yeah. And his only friend...
Yeah, who's like an Indian cop who earlier we saw like was speaking Urdu to these like Indian people that had gotten like mugged, and this white police officer comes up and he's like, "Don't speak English." And I'm just like, what the fuck? He's doing your job for you.
Yeah, it's like... At first I was like, when that scene started, because I don't know much about like British like African American history. I've kind of assumed it's probably much like very similar to what happens over here. But it was nice. It was nice to kind of get some of the nuance by watching the series and feeling like I have a decent foothold to start like branching out and learning more, because I can like all of these are based on true stories. Or like at least I'm pretty sure, so I can like go and do deeper research into each one of these. But yeah, his friend ends up leaving the force. We don't even find out directly why. Because
of racism. But he was the only one that showed up when he doesn't need backup, and he was like 30 minutes away, and he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to get."
Yeah.
But he like he doesn't like die, but he gets the shit beat out of him for a second.
Yeah. In one of the most badass scenes in the movie, right? As like the suspect's about to get away, he just fucking like jumps
down like a story onto like a crate, and then he tackles it.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
There was a funny Star Wars reference earlier in the movie.
Oh yeah. Fucking I had a little gig at that one.
It was pretty stupid, but it was like, I think about joining the Force, and they're like, "What are you gonna be, a Jedi?"
I just wonder if John Boyega was just like rolling his eyes, like, "Do I have to, Steve? You're
or do you think he did that? He's like, "Can you put in a funny Jedi joke?"
I feel like John Boyega would be tired of Star Wars at this point, isn't he? Like, didn't he throw in the towel and say he doesn't have any necessary plans to like do anything more currently with the Star Wars universe? But maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
He doesn't like a lot of what happened, so I wouldn't be surprised. Especially like it's so hard being like a Star Wars fan, because it's just like it's so toxic. It's so toxic. So yeah, I love Star Wars. The new series of books around the High Republic comes out in like 5 days. I'm gonna pick it up day one. But nice. I just don't like talking to people about Star Wars anymore. Unless they're just like movie fans in general, because like Star Wars fans. Oh.
Yeah, no, I get that sentiment 100%.
But yeah, red, white, and blue is just like, and then they write on his locker dirty N-word. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And he's like, there's a couple times where he like blows up at them, and those are like really good scenes. He's really good at that.
That scene where he goes in and confronts them after the whole backup thing, and just nobody saying anything. He's like, "Why aren't you saying anything?"
Yeah, he's like, "You always want to talk. Why aren't you talking now?"
You can tell by the looks on all of their faces that he's just standing right in the lion's den. Like every single person in that room is a fucking racist piece of shit. Yeah. And it's just like, so sad. There were lots of moments throughout today where I was watching most of these movies. I watched Mangrove last night. Oh. I guess it was technically today, but it was like before I went to bed. Where I was just like, so sad. I'm just like, oh man, reality sucks.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot. There tries to be like a hopeful element to some of these where it's like eventually things will change, but then you look at now, I'm like, nothing's changed, or it's ever so slightly changed.
It's kind of like what the idea of like kind of what John Boyega starts to get at there, or what's the guy's name?
His character?
Leroy Logan.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Leroy starts talking about there at the end of the movie. It's like, maybe it's just so absolutely fucked, you know.
Yeah. And then his dad was like, no, it's just like a really big wheel, and it takes a long time to turn. And I'm just like, well, still hasn't made it.
Two different outlooks,
which is like the opposite of what they were feeling like earlier. Like their characters kind of changed. There's some really good moments with them. I really like the guy who plays his dad. I think his name's like Steve Toussaint or Toussaint.
Yeah, this movie in particular had a rare case of what I feel was an actual effective like cutaway to an earlier scene with his dad standing in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Usually I don't like stuff like that, but I don't know. I felt like it worked here because it's just like, you know, that it's like he finally gets it, because it feels like his character didn't really understand. I mean, seeing how like the opening scene, I mean, he understands, but he needed like something to kind of connect the wires there, because it's like at the beginning of the movie when it's like the cops are kind of hassling him, and his dad's basically like, don't let them like search you. Like, he's like, why? Like, what if they arrest me? And it's like, he's like, don't worry about that, you know. So you can tell that he has kind of a nuanced mindset on the matter, especially obviously since he joins the police force.
Yeah. But I think in general, like, while Steve McQueen's trying to put this guy like in a good light, that he was trying to do the right thing, I'm pretty sure Steve McQueen is mostly saying, yeah, you can't really change a police force from the inside as much as you fucking try.
Yeah, or at least one guy to two people can't do it. You need a lot.
Like, maybe if you got like 30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bit fucked, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
And then I do think that this movie has some structuring issues with like its pacing. I think the movie should have either been like 60 minutes or like an hour and 40 minutes, because it feels like some of like the middle chunk, there are just chunks of the film that I feel like are way more developed than other chunks of the film, and I think it leads it to kind of going like spikes in like its pacing, and then it like suddenly slows down then speeds up. So I think that either some of those overdeveloped areas if you just like cut down some of it, or if you just made all of it like the same amount of development. I think it would have worked a little better. I still think the movie was great overall, but it just kind of was giving me whiplash every once in a while. I don't know if you felt that way or not.
I didn't pick up on that, but it's something I'll keep in mind with a future rewatch, because I definitely want to watch these again. I'm hoping if they haven't like put one out already, that this gets like a Blu-ray release.
I would assume so. At the very least, you might have to pick one from jolly old England, but because it's going. I think it went straight to like cable, like to the BBC.
Yeah, because I don't want. I want to support Steve McQueen, but I don't want to support Amazon. And I could justify.
That's fair.
I could justify buying like a DVD from Amazon, but I can't. I can't do the Prime subscription.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
So that's a movie.
That it was.
You're giving this one an 8. Is that up or is that a good?
No, that's a good.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna give this one. I'm gonna say a high 7.
More like a low 8.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah. Pretty close. All right, the fourth one, Alex Wheatle. I'm gonna be honest, did not like this one.
I won't say I didn't like this, because I think I did like it, but it's not. It was definitely the weakest.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I disliked it, but it was like it was hard to get through, even at its length. I just thought that like I just wasn't engaged with it. So it's like a mini biopic of this author, Alex Wheatle, and like his early life. And there were like these good scenes in it, but just overall, I don't know what it was. I couldn't get invested.
Yeah, it might have been something with the structuring of it. I feel like the middle of this one really sags, because I really like the stuff with him in the jail.
Yeah,
and I with his cellmate. His cellmate's fucking funny and charming. I liked him.
Calm down, you.
Like he's taking a shit over there, and he's like, "I've already said sorry."
But if you want me to say sorry again, I'll say it again until I die.
That was funny.
I think
and he basically is like, "No, you've got a story to tell. I want to hear it, motherfucker." And like, basically deadlocks him.
I think in general, if the jail scenes were longer, I think they're too like short. And I think it just cuts too much. It cuts around too much. It's the same thing with like Red, White, and Blue, but it's like exacerbated. Like none of it is. It's all underdeveloped, and it means that all of the scenes just feel like kind of meaningless to me.
Yeah. Like I think this movie has a lot of great stuff in it. Like I liked learning about his like troubled youth in the like foster system. Like all of that was really interesting to me, and I really want to learn more about this guy because he went on to become a famous novelist.
Yeah,
and the movie doesn't
I've been
really
thinking
explore
about
that.
buying some of his novels.
And I really wish this movie was longer and explored more of his life. I feel like that would have maybe helped out this movie a lot more, because it definitely, because it's like we're watching the beginning of his life and it's so like kind of oddly paced, and then it doesn't really feel like we get the full payoff of it.
Well, the weird thing is like, so Red, White, and Blue only takes place over the span of like a year and a half maybe. And it's an hour and 20 minutes. This one takes place like his early childhood, then when he's like 18 or 19, then when he's like goes to jail. Like it goes around.
It wants to be an intense character study or a character drama,
but it's about like half the length it needs to be. Yeah,
yeah. So it's really kind of, and so much of what they show, I feel like it's like, oh man, like I like seeing him get with the like community, but like, I don't know, like it didn't. It wasn't very captivating.
No, I completely agree. It was.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly to do with the structure and like the pacing of the movie, because we don't get like enough time with these characters per scene before it just cuts away to like, oh, back to the prison, or here's a flashback, something. So we don't get enough to really like feel for these characters and like start to vibe with them, I guess. And it also has more characters than I expected. Like there's Alex Wheatle, and then there's like the guy who's supplying the drugs. There's his friend. He has another friend. I don't know. For being so short, I feel like there's too many characters he has to interact with like on a daily basis.
Yeah, I feel it. But yeah, this was definitely the weakest one for me. I don't really have much more to say on it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, like I didn't hate it. There are things I liked, and I really liked the guy who played Alex Wheatle.
Yeah, he was good.
He's really good. And then I looked up a picture of Alex Wheatle, and the guy's like pretty built, and I'm like, this guy is a little too like he's pretty scrawny. Like he has a six-pack when he takes off his shirt, but he's still like pretty scrawny. He's like not the body type of the actual guy like at all.
No, okay.
But I'm like, that's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't think it was bad, but I will say it was the weakest.
I'd agree.
All right. We're giving this one a 6.
There you go. Got it. You're going to give this one a 7. No. That's a 5?
Yeah. When I say I did not like this as my first words for it, you're like, oh, the classic 7 from London.
You like pain. What do you want me to say?
That's true.
All right.
The final one we're talking about. Education.
Education.
Which was the first one I watched.
Oh, okay. This is the second to last one I watched.
Yeah. It's about a young boy named Kingsley or Kingston. One of them.
I think it's Kingsley. Let me see.
Yeah, it's Kingsley. Young boy named Kingsley. He's like really fascinated in rockets and like astronauts and stuff with that. But he's having trouble in school, and he's like, he can barely read like a couple of words, and his teachers are not helping them. They're constantly kind of ridiculing him and picking him out of a bunch and be like, "Oh, you're the one sole troublemaker."
Literally calls him blockhead.
Yeah.
So it's
like in the front of the class. Like, Jesus Christ. So eventually they call his mother in for a meeting, and they're like, we're going to send him to a special school. And both her and the father are like extremely busy with work. They obviously work like 70, 80 hours a week or something just to put food on the table for their family. So the only one that really notices like Kingsley's deteriorating like socially and stuff because he's not getting an education is his sister. And she's like kind of antagonistic towards him in the beginning, just like because she's a sister. But then she notices this and she's like, oh God.
Yeah, and she's the first one that kind of tries to like level with the mother, but the mother's like, what do you know? Nothing. I'm working a lot. Get out of my face. But then basically there's this period of time at this school that he's going to, which is super far away, by the way. He doesn't live anywhere fucking near it. He has to take a bus to commute there. Just the teacher doesn't show up most days. So they're just left in an unattended classroom, and they're not learning what they need to know. When he's there, he plays fucking In the House of the Rising Sun by the Animals.
There is a house in New Orleans.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hate that song. I don't fault anyone who likes it. I just think it's so overrated.
I mean, I think it's overplayed. I like the song, but it's just like Anyone that says that they like that song, I kind of run away from, because even though I like it, I'm like, no, don't play it.
Yeah. But anyway, so that just made me hate that guy even more. I was like, fuck this guy. But I get it. I get what they were going for with it.
Yeah, he was supposed to be evil. Maybe Steve McQueen also hates that song.
Maybe. But yeah, basically one day this woman drops by and she's trying to get information on the school and on the, like, students who go to the school, so she can, like, find their parents and be like, hey, this is what's really going on. This is not just... This is bigger than just, like, your kid, too. Like, this is, like, a systematic thing that's happening to, like, you know, black kids here. And it's fucked up. And we need to do something about it and gather evidence and approach stopping this. And also, I want to get your kids into actual, like, Saturday school so they can actually learn some shit.
Yeah. And the mom's, like, really, when she finds out, she's like, no.
She's hesitant at first. Yeah, she's like, no, that can't be. What? They said it was a special school. And then
they were like, actually, they call it a subnormal school.
Yeah, so she goes and she kind of, like, reads the material, listens in on, like, the meeting where she hears more people talk about it. And, like, when that old guy stands up and talks about it, he's like, you know, I can't read, but I never went to school. Yeah. But when I found out that, like, my 16-year-old, like, grandson or nephew or whatever he said, who has been going to school for 12 years, doesn't know how to fucking read, that's a fucking issue. Yeah. And it's like, damn. And then eventually the mom confronts the kid and is like, just look, no, because the kid runs away from the fact that he can't read the whole movie. He tries to be like, yeah, no, I know what that said. Yeah, no, I got it. Whatever. Yeah. But she, like, basically pulls out a book and she's like, you need, like, I don't want you to hide. You don't have to hide here. Just try to read this. And he breaks down, yeah. And then she goes to the father, and the father's like, he wakes up and he's super grumpy, but then the sister kind of reads the material to him, and he's like, fuck.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And I like, this movie ends on a kind of hopeful note, at least for, like, the family.
Yeah, because they go to Saturday school and he's doing good, and he, like, knows things. Mm-hmm. And
he's finally getting the technical skill he needs to actually work as an outlet for his own real intelligence that he has. Yeah. Because they make it a point that even though he can't read, he's a very smart and bright kid.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he has a lot of passion for stuff, and his dad the whole time is just like, it doesn't matter if he goes to school, he
can learn a trade.
Yeah, and they're like, but
and then
he
the sister's like, look, he shouldn't be denied this outlet for something he could be good at, just simply because the system says so, because he's black. Like, it's...
And there's this big thing in this movie where the mom has to overcome her feelings about this, because she's like, yeah, we've lived with prejudice and stuff. We know we just have to overcome it and stuff. And the other people are like, but we shouldn't have to do that. Your son shouldn't have to do that. He should have these experiences able to be granted to him.
Yeah, that, and just the fact that it's like, when the system is built to demolish, like,
you can't get over a wall that's 1,000 feet high.
Exactly. There's a certain point where it just becomes unrealistic, and it will eventually escalate into bigger problems than we already have now, if something's not done about it.
I think in general, I really, really love the scene that they're having that meeting in, the, like, PTA stuff, the parent meeting. There's one person that stands up and they're like, when I came to this country, I had a bunch of dreams, and when my kids come home carrying those dreams, I can't help but, like, hate them for it. Like, that line was devastating to me. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I understand, but I'm like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But that might have been, like, my favorite line in the whole series. I really, really like that line.
It's a good one.
And in general, I was surprised. It may have been because this was the first one I watched, but I really, really liked this movie. And I was surprised how good Kingsley was.
This was on the top end for me, too. This was a good one. And yeah, Kingsley was good. Everyone was good in this one.
Yeah, pretty much, like, regardless of, like, the quality, like, even Alex Wheatle, I think the casts were all really good in this, which is surprising because some of them were, like, non-actors or, like, they had been in very little things before, like, one thing or two things. And they all feel... maybe it's that genuine rawness that I'm, like, feeling through them that matches, like, the cinematography and the script so well, but... They were really good fits, and I look forward to seeing, like, all of them and more things.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Let me see. I think...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You would give this a 9?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe a 9 for you as well.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I quite like this one.
I will tell you that my ranking's very wrong because of that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but I'm like, I think Thomas will like this, but not, like, love it. So, oh well. But, alright, you want to hear what I thought your ranking was going to be?
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be Mangrove at the top, which I think I got right. Then Red, White, and Blue, then Lovers Rock, then Education, then Alex Wheatle. But I'm guessing now that it's like the exact same, but just put Education right below Mangrove.
Yep. There you go. For you, I had put Mangrove at the top, and I'd put Red, White, and Blue, Lovers Rock, Education, and Wheatle.
Wow, that's completely wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Mine goes Lovers Rock, Education, Mangrove, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatle.
Maybe next time I'll be more on the mark.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
But yeah. Alrighty.
So, we did it. First podcast of the year is done.
Alright, it's that time, isn't it?
Yeah, do you have a dice?
No, okay. I don't. It's gonna have to be all you.
Okay, let me go. I don't think I have dice in here, so let me go get some.
Okay. Let me double check and make sure what we're watching.
I think there's dice right here, and also my ass might have been out when I just stood up. We'll see.
No, I didn't have
What'd you say?
My Discord up. I didn't have my Discord up, so I cannot comment as to if your ass was out or not.
I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna tell you what it is, okay? So I don't want to move my... Okay, it's a 9. We're good.
Oh, good. Alright.
No bag
L or
yet.
P?
L or P? Lesbian or pottery?
I don't know why I said P, because it's not going to be a P, but we'll just stick
Well,
with
now it's
L
intriguing, so I'm picking P.
Oh, no. Okay.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I get neither of these were no-worthy. They were both good.
Okay.
It was either going to be 2 Loop on the Third movies, or yeah, I think you're going to like what I suggest. I'm in the mood for something kind of light this week, so I'm going to watch The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. And if you want to toss your own animated special in there, you can.
What, a Batman?
Yeah.
Let me... Yeah. Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2 are like my favorite Batman movies. What's my third favorite Batman movie that's animated? Hold on.
The Batman.
Sure, let's... have you seen Under the Red Hood?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2? Have you seen all of these?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, let's just do Part 1 and Part 2. Let's just do those two.
Okay. You want to, maybe, if you want to add another one, you want to add another Miller one and just throw year one in there? Shits and gigs?
Sure, let's do Batman Year One. That works.
Cool. We'll get I think that's all that they've animated of, like, the Frank Miller Batman stuff, which is good, because it's the good stuff.
Did it?
Huh?
Who did the Killing Joke?
Oh, that might have been Frank Miller. Hold on. It's certainly dark enough to be Frank Miller.
Or no, Alan Moore did that, didn't he? Wait.
Oh, yeah. I think that...
Anyway, the Killing Joke's fucking awful.
That was Alan Moore who did the Killing Joke. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Killing Joke. I'm not a fan of that other comic that they adapted at the beginning of it, and it's just kind of a really graphic story. And I'm just like, oof. It's not fun.
But, okay. Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, which I think this will be my third time watching those. I really, really like those.
This might be my third time watching them as well.
I think this will be my third time watching Year One as well, because I think I watched it on my own, and then we watched it for our movie thing we used to do.
Yeah. I think it's going to be exactly the same.
Cool.
So.
That works.
Cool. Whatever.
All right. Well, okay. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening to the podcast. Tell your mailman and all that. And we'll see you next week.
Adios.
Bye.